Hi there, global citizens. You are welcome. Uganda has officially joined BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, as one of 13 new partner nations in a move set to reshape its international trade and investment prospects. By aligning with the BRICS alliance, Uganda is positioning itself to benefit from deeper economic ties with some of the world's largest emerging markets. Other nations joining as BRICS partners include Algeria, Indonesia, Turkey, Nigeria, and Vietnam, as the group seeks to expand its global influence and foster a more balanced, multilateral trade system. The expansion is part of BRICS' long-term strategy to challenge the dominance of Western-centric trade and financial institutions, promoting alternative economic pathways. What joining BRICS means for new trade and investment opportunities for East African countries. For Uganda, the inclusion in BRICS presents opportunities to diversify its trade relationships and tap into the vast markets within the alliance. With a GDP that relies heavily on agriculture and natural resources, Uganda stands to gain from increased foreign investment and trade in sectors oil, minerals, coffee, and tea. Africa's rising influence. The expansion of BRICS highlights the growing importance of African nations in shaping global economic alliances. Nigeria, Africa's largest economy, has also joined as a BRICS partner, signifying the continent's increasing role in global trade discussions. Uganda's decision to join the BRICS partnership aligns with its broader goal of building alliances outside traditional Western markets. African nations, long seen as recipients of Western aid and investment, are now seeking to assert themselves in international trade through partnerships that emphasize mutual benefit and economic development. BRICS provides a platform for African countries to engage on more equal footing with major economies, noted a regional trade expert. The shift towards South-South cooperation is particularly important for countries like Uganda, which are seeking to reduce dependency on Western markets. Could this move be a new era for Uganda's economy? As Uganda enters the BRICS fold, the country is poised for an economic transformation that could see it become a stronger player in global markets. Through increased foreign direct investment, access to new technology, and enhanced trade relations with BRICS members, Uganda has the potential to accelerate its industrialization and development goals. The partnership is also expected to contribute to infrastructure development, particularly in energy and transportation, which are critical for improving Uganda's economic competitiveness. This move signals a new era for Uganda, one that emphasizes strategic partnerships and global integration with emerging economies. With BRICS influence growing on the world stage, Uganda's participation could significantly elevate its economic standing, giving it a stronger voice in shaping international trade policies and development initiatives. On October 23rd, Uganda officially joined BRICS as a partner, marking its entry as the first East African nation in the prominent alliance that unites Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa with other emerging economies. Since its inception in 2009, BRICS has evolved from promoting investment opportunities to a powerful geopolitical bloc, where member governments convene annually to discuss multilateral policies and strategies. Alongside Uganda, other 12 countries added as BRICS partners during the 2024 summit included Algeria, Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Nigeria, Thailand, Turkey, Uzbekistan, and Vietnam. Margaret Kafiro, head of public diplomacy at Uganda's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, told this reporter that while she had seen news of the development, formal details were still being verified. The ministry's spokesperson redirected further inquiries to Permanent Secretary Vincent Bagir, who was unavailable for comment. Combined, BRICS members now encompass about 30% of the global land area and 45% of the world's population. The original members alone, South Africa, Brazil, India, China, and Russia, hold significant economic power. With a combined nominal GDP of approximately $28 trillion, a total GDP, PPP, of $65 trillion, and around $5.2 trillion in foreign reserves, BRICS now represents 33% of the world's GDP on a purchasing power parity basis. Uganda, with its strong relations with current BRICS members and other new partners, stands to benefit from these economic networks. In aligning with BRICS, Uganda is taking a significant step towards expanding its economic, political, and strategic influence on the global stage, building new alliances, and enhancing its position within Africa and beyond. The idea of a Brics currency has been discussed for years. However, as the alliance grows and economic pressures increase, the idea of a common currency has gained new momentum. At the BRICS summit in Kazan, the official BRICS website released images of a symbolic currency note being presented to the president of Russia, the current BRICS chair. This imagery has fueled speculation about the future of the currency. Before delving into the proposed banknote and its significance, it's vital to understand why BRICS members are looking for alternatives to the US dollar as their global reserve currency. Member countries seek to protect themselves from external dollar fluctuations, increase trade links, and gain influence over financial policy in a multipolar global economy. The US dollar's status as the leading reserve currency stems from post-World War II economic reorganization, specifically the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944. This event established the dollar as a central currency and established two organizations, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, aimed to foster currency stability and financial recovery. Key economists John Maynard Keynes and Harry Dexter White devised the system with complementary but conflicting goals. Keynes advocated for a new worldwide currency at the bank, while White envisaged a dollar-centric economy with gold convertibility. The Bretton Woods system tied global currencies to the dollar, which was fixed at $35 per ounce of gold. The dollar strengthened throughout the 1950s due to increased international trade and U.S. economic stability, attracting reserve currency investments by 1958. The Bretton Woods system was fully operational, enabling countries to settle international transactions in dollars. Yet the system faced challenges by the 1960s, as U.S. deficits and gold outflows strained its gold reserves, and rising inflation put additional pressure on the dollar. In response, President Nixon in 1971 ended the dollar's gold convertibility, transforming it into a floating fiat currency. Despite these shifts, the dollar's centrality remained unchallenged due to global reliance on it for trade and stability. However, recent geopolitical shifts and economic strategies have led BRICS nations to explore creating a currency that could enhance trade efficiency and reduce reliance on the dollar, especially in the face of economic sanctions and trade imbalances that disproportionately affect some member states such as Russia and China. In recent years, BRICS economies have surpassed the G7 in terms of GDP based on purchasing power parity, now representing over 31% of global GDP, a significant influence on the world economy. These countries account for around 16% of global trade and more than 40% of the world population. Recent agreements between China and Brazil have enabled direct trade in local currencies, eliminating the need for the dollar and reducing transaction costs and currency exchange risks. A BRICS currency might simplify cross-border transactions and boost economic self-sufficiency, aligning with the trend of de-dollarization. BRICS countries have already made moves to trade in local currencies, including bilateral agreements between China and Russia, Brazil, China, India, and Russia. A BRICS currency could take shape either as a single currency or as a digital currency unit tied to the economic contributions of each member nation, resembling the IMF's special drawing rights, SDR, as a weighted currency basket. The idea of anchoring this currency to gold or other assets is still under debate. Some advocate for gold backing to provide stability, while others argue that a currency without such linkages may remain flexible. BRICS nations aspire to strengthen economic independence by moving away from currency centralization. They believe global financial institutions heavily favor Western interests. Relying on the dollar for international trade can make these economies vulnerable to U.S. policy changes and sanctions, such as Russia's exclusion from SWIFT and other sanctions related to the Ukraine conflict. By promoting trade in local currencies or creating a BRICS currency, these countries aim to enhance their economic autonomy. Cross-border trade within BRICS can be expedited by using local or common currencies, minimizing costs and risks from currency swings. Moving away from the dollar could ease processes, especially as intra-BRICS trade grows. Bilateral trade agreements between BRICS countries, such as China and Russia, have benefited from dollar-independent transactions in local currencies. The US dollar's global dominance can impact financial markets and economic policies. By reducing reliance on the US dollar, BRICS can promote a more equitable distribution of economic power and give emerging economies a stronger voice in global financial decisions, which they believe is long overdue in a multipolar world. Rising tensions between the US and certain BRICS members, particularly Russia and China, have led these countries to examine alternatives. Diversification is considered a safeguard against future economic penalties and trade restrictions by the US and its allies. The BRICS alliance, including Saudi Arabia and Iran, has the potential to alleviate tensions. Emerging economies rely on Western-controlled financial institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund and World Bank. BRICS nations believe that dependence on the dollar exposes them to instability from US economic policies, including fluctuations caused by Federal Reserve decisions and interest rate increases. BRICS nations often face higher debt servicing expenses and inflationary pressure, resulting in a weaker dollar. Reducing reliance could increase stability in their financial markets. The information about this banknote is primarily sourced from Sputnik, a Russian state-owned news agency and radio broadcast service based in the Kyrgyzstan Vladimir region. During a recent summit in Kazan, 1,000 commemorative notes worth 100 Brics were issued in preparation for the 2023 BRICS Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. Russia's President, Vladimir Putin, received a symbolic banknote. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov referred to it as quasi-money, emphasizing the collaborative spirit among BRICS states. The note's front side features national symbols and flags of the 5 founding BRICS countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The other side displays flags and names of additional BRICS nations: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, among others, are prospective allies. Yevgeny Fyodorov, creator and owner of Kyrgyzstan Typography JSC, designed the banknote as a gift to support BRICS' aims of international collaboration and a multipolar framework. Each graphic was lovingly hand-drawn. Fyodorov praised Yuri Yako, the designer of the BRICS note, describing it as both a concept model and a symbol of an emerging multipolar world. The circular arrangement of the flags on the front represents equality among BRICS members. The note also includes sophisticated anti-counterfeiting features, similar to standard Russian banknotes. Yako also crafted portraits for Iraq's currency under Saddam Hussein and for Vietnam's former leader Ho Chi Minh on the Vietnamese dong. President Putin underlined that while a single BRICS currency has been discussed, there are no immediate plans to implement it, highlighting the importance of caution. At the BRICS Summit in Kazan, a symbolic banknote featuring the flags of member nations was unveiled, sparking discussions on creating alternatives to the US dollar and fostering a more independent economic system. News of a new BRICS currency is no longer new as the countries converge this time in Russia. At the BRICS Summit in Kazan, Russia, a symbolic BRICS banknote was unveiled, igniting discussions on reshaping global finance. The banknote, which features the flags of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, symbolizes the collective ambitions of these nations to explore alternatives to the US dollar in cross-border transactions. This development highlights the growing effort within BRICS to establish a more independent economic system, one less reliant on Western financial structures. Putin's stance on dollarization. Not rejection. Russian President Vladimir Putin made it clear at the summit that the BRICS nations are not outright rejecting the US dollar, but are preparing alternatives if access to it continues to be restricted. The dollar remains the most important tool in global finance, but using it as a political weapon undermines trust in the currency, Putin remarked. He stated that BRICS will not fight against the dollar, but will seek alternative methods if the situation necessitates it. If they block us, we'll find alternatives, he added, underscoring the pragmatic approach BRICS is adopting. Putin's remarks echo within the larger context of sanctions imposed on Russia, which have significantly limited its access to global financial systems dominated by the dollar. By exploring alternative currencies for trade, BRICS seeks to mitigate the risks posed by such political measures. According to Putin, using the dollar as a weapon will accelerate the transition to new financial structures, hinting that the BRICS bloc is moving toward a fairer economic system. Dilma Rousseff. Weaponizing the dollar undermines global trust. Dilma Rousseff, chair of the New Development Bank, NDB, echoed Putin's concerns, stating that the dollar has been used as a political tool, which undermines its reliability in global finance. Also read, China Investment Finance Minister endorses local currency settlement for cross-border trade. On Wednesday, October 23, 2024, the BRICS nations formally endorsed the settlement of cross-border payments in local currencies, marking a significant step toward reducing dependency on the US dollar. The Kazan Declaration, issued at the summit's conclusion, stated, "We welcome the use of local currencies in financial transactions between BRICS countries and their trading partners." This initiative is seen as part of the broader BRICS cross-border payments initiative, which promotes voluntary, non-binding use of local currencies. At the summit in Kazan, Putin was shown a symbolic BRICS banknote. The note represents the collective work being carried out within the BRICS framework. On the front face of the banknote, the flags of the BRICS founding countries, Russia, China, India, Brazil, and South, pic.twitter.com/G1RQXTK, Sputnik Int, October 23, 2024. India played a leading role in advocating for local currency settlements. Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized that this shift would strengthen economic ties among BRICS nations and provide a more resilient framework for trade. India has already taken steps in this direction, allowing trade settlements in rupees with countries like Russia and the UAE, and it continues discussions with others like Indonesia. The path toward a BRICS currency, a symbolic start. While the symbolic BRICS banknote has raised expectations of a common currency, officials remained cautious, focusing instead on integrating financial markets and establishing infrastructure for local currency settlements. Reports have suggested that the BRICS banknote could be called the unit, with backing possibly coming from gold and member currencies. However, these remain speculative, and no official announcements have been made regarding the launch of a BRICS currency. The leaders also tasked their finance ministers and central bank governors to explore further steps in local currencies and financial integration. One significant outcome from the summit was the plan to set up an independent cross-border settlement infrastructure, tentatively called BRICS Clear. This system aims to complement existing financial market mechanisms while promoting the use of local currencies for international trade. Challenges ahead and the vision for a fairer economic system. While the endorsement of local currencies marks a bold move, the road ahead for BRICS is not without challenges. Putin noted that the speed of transitioning to a fairer economic system depends on abandoning someone else's rules and platforms. The longer BRICS operates within the current Western-dominated financial structure, the longer the turbulence, according to Putin. The summit also saw BRICS collectively reject the European Union's carbon border adjustment mechanism, calling it a protectionist measure under the guise of environmental concerns. This stance highlights the bloc's shared goal of resisting what they view as Western economic dominance while promoting a more equitable global financial system. While the symbolic BRICS banknote and discussions of a common currency may signal a desire for change, the immediate focus remains on enhancing local currency settlements and building the necessary financial infrastructure. As the BRICS nations work toward these goals, they continue to challenge the status quo of global finance, seeking alternatives to dollar hegemony without directly opposing it. India took center stage at the summit, advocating for local currency settlements among BRICS nations. The unveiling of the BRICS currency bill, featuring the Taj Mahal, added controversy, as the bloc explores challenging the US dollar's global financial power. Here is where we wrap things for today.